Once you hear that sound, it signals the African Military Games. Hello everyone, we are back on this special coverage of the African Military Games on in Nigeria's capital city, Abuja. Today is the 8th day of the competition that has kept the African military active in sporting activities. I am Ademola Lawrence, and with me in the studio is TVC News defense correspondent Sifon Hussein. Sifon.
It's been a delight being on set and doing this with you a couple of days.
I'm telling you, it's really been a delight. But let's quickly remind you that over 3,000 military personnel from 40 African countries are in Abuja for the second edition of the African Military Games. We told you earlier in the week that Nigeria has made history by hosting the second edition of the African Military Games in Abuja. The event brings together military personnel from across the continent to compete in various sports, emphasizing in camaraderie, of course, discipline and unity. The opening ceremony held at the Moshood Abiola Stadium was a vibrant showcase of cultural heritage and military precision. Delegations from participating countries proudly marched in their national colors, symbolizing regional solidarity. The games featured diverse sporting events, including athletics, football, volleyball, and martial arts. This competition provides a platform for military personnel to demonstrate physical fitness, teamwork, and resilience. The Chief of Defense Staff highlighted the game's role in fostering peace, cooperation, and mutual understanding. With heightened security measures in place, the event underscores Nigeria's capability to host high-profile international events. Beyond showcasing athletic prowess, the African Military Games highlights the armed forces' role in promoting unity and stability across the continent. Let's share the thoughts of the Chief of Defense Staff with you.
And that will prepare us for future. Down to a good experience.
And now the host team, Nigeria Armed Forces, is going for more wins in the ongoing second African Military Games in Abuja. They've boosted their medal count to impressive 169, widening the gap between themselves and rivals like Algeria and other participating countries. According to the medal table released at the end of Wednesday, Team Nigeria racked up 85 gold, 46 silver, and 38 bronze medals, securing a dominant lead. Breaking it down, the team, of course, claimed 16 gold in shooting, 15 in taekwondo, 12 in boxing, 11 in wrestling, and 8 in archery. They also took 6 golds in squash, 7 in badminton, 4 in tennis, 2 in handball, and 1 each in golf. Combat swimming, basketball, and obstacle crossing. Interesting, those are sports I would love to always watch. And trailing from behind is second place in Team Algeria with a total of 74 medals, including 42 gold, 17 silver, and 15 bronze. Team Kenya sits in third with 12 gold, 11 silver, and 5 bronze medals. The top 5 are rounded out by Tunisia in fourth with 26 medals, including 4 gold, and Libya in fifth with 14 medals. South Africa, Uganda, and other African countries follow in the rankings, with Nigeria commanding performance. It's clear they are not just hosting this year's games, they are on it. Interesting. Remember, we're here. This is the third day we're doing this, and it's been an interesting one looking at the African Military Games. One, of course, which stands out for me, I will always say any day, anytime, is the combat swimming and, of course, the obstacle crossing.
Those are the two most tasking of the games, because, just as I said yesterday, your wits end is what is being tested, your skill, your ability to persevere, even when, as it would appear that all hope is gone or lost, as the case may be. You just have to keep pushing on to reach the mark according to the protocols of the game. So these two games, combat swimming, the obstacle crossing, actually test everything a soldier stands for.
And if you look at it, yesterday we also saw the finals of the double of the men table tennis.
Yes.
Nigeria versus Nigeria.
A surprising one. If I'd been told it would have been Nigeria versus Nigeria, perhaps I wouldn't have believed that. But here we are. We saw Nigeria competing against Nigeria. We didn't have too many contingents or teams, you know, in that particular game.
Okay.
But here we also have the host, you know, being heads and shoulders above all.
If Egypt had come, Egypt would have dragged it out with Nigeria in table tennis.
Perhaps. Maybe the next game is when it's organized, we'll have the likes of Egypt slugging it out with maybe Team Nigeria for the top spot.
Yes, and also we saw the volleyball match yesterday. I'm very sure that it was also an interesting one where Nigeria, was it yesterday or 2 days ago? Yes. I think that was 2 days ago. Nigeria versus Kenya. Nigeria also winning gold in that particular tournament, in that particular event. Then, of course, for the female side, you also have the volleyball for Nigeria and Nigeria. And yesterday, we also had the female doubles for tennis, where Nigeria, and of course, it was, I think it was Nigeria and Kenya. Nigeria and Ghana, rather. But Nigeria, of course, stole the show for that particular event. But let's look at today's event. We're having a series of events that's going to be coming up. Is, of course, till the 30th of November.
Yes.
It's 12 days of sporting activities.
Yes.
And 19 sporting activities to be completed.
Today's fixtures include men's hammer, women's hammer, and the triple jump, you know, happening today. We also have kickboxing, you know, happening today. And men's... Okay, basically those are the games that, you know, that contestants will be slugging it out for laurels today at the various gaming centers. We also understand that while we came on set, that the medals table has changed.
Oh, wow.
You know, Nigeria has added 5 more medals to its medal list. So as it stands now, Nigeria has 174 medals in total. That is 87 gold, 47 silver, 40 bronze, followed closely by Algeria, which is 42 gold, 19 silver, 18 bronze medal, a total of 79. Then Kenya coming third with an impressive 15 gold, 11 silver, 5 bronze, a total of 31 medals. Now in Ethiopia. Ethiopia now has 5 medals. That's 5 gold, 7 silver, 2 bronze, a total of 14. Then Tunisia is now 5th position. That changed while we were on set. You know, just came in now. Tunisia with 4 gold, 16 silver, 11 bronze, a total of 31, you know, medals. And Libya is now 6th position with 4 gold, 6 silver, 4 bronze, a total of 14 medals. Now the medals tables changed in just the period of just about 5 minutes while we were on set.
I think that, okay, I would love us to listen to this particular, this is like a morale booster.
Yes, this is a morale booster. Nigerian contingents leading with the morale boosting songs, and they are joined by their counterparts from North Africa.
Okay, let's listen to this morale booster song, and we'll still have more to talk about in the studio. What an interesting morale booster song.
There you have the Nigerian, or Team Nigeria, that's the Armed Forces of Nigeria, singing the traditional morale boosting songs, such that they sing during training and physical fitness exercises. There you also saw their counterparts from North Africa joining them, learning the songs and singing along. That is just the beauty of the African military games, building comradeship across the various defense forces.
And I think that, you know, building that comradeship is very important, looking at what the African military games actually stand for and what the Chief of Defense Staff spoke about in his opening speech during the opening ceremony, and of course what the Vice President also said during the opening ceremony is not just about bringing everybody together to foster unity, to have one purpose on how to fight, of course, insurgency in the region, which is very, very important, aside from the games that is bringing everybody together. But another thing that I really like us to talk about is how this is further fostering that unity between the African countries, the people that are watching at home, not, you know, the guys on the field now, because this is practically everywhere in African countries. Because your country is represented.
You have countries like Burkina Faso participating, and we understand that efforts are being made diplomatically to bring them back into the ECOWAS fold. But here, according to sports, you know, they are taking part in the AMGA 2024, and you know, they've thrown behind every limitation. You know, they set aside every act of officialdom that made them pull out of that regional bloc, you know, and participating with their comrades across the divide, and you know, sharing that warmth, and you know, it goes a long way to foster that spirit of comradeship and a spirit of corps among the armed forces of the continent. An impressive one, just like we just saw a while ago. The contingent from members of the contingent from North Africa taking part to sing the song. Many of them, that will be the first time they will be learning the song, and they will be going back home to sing the song to their comrades, you know, in the profession, that this is what they got. One of, you know, the memorabilia from Nigeria, the songs they've learned. It bolsters that relationship, you know, across the divide. Don't forget that after the sporting activity, many of these soldiers might have the opportunity, or would have the opportunity, to train at various levels, and they'll be meeting their comrades again. So it's no longer starting a new relationship. It's about strengthening the existing relationship that was, you know, established and fostered at AMGA 2024.
Interesting. And just to tell you that you look at the medal table, Nigeria, Algeria, and of course
Kenya, Ethiopia, Tunisia.
That's what I'm even going. That is West Africa, North Africa, and East Africa.
East Africa, yeah.
That's the first three.
Yes.
Okay, we'll go on, of course, on a break, but that break will be the highlights of some of the events that have happened over time in the course of these Africa military games. We'll give you the highlights. Well, we'll come back. We'll still have more for you on AMGA 2024. Don't go anywhere, we'll be right back.
Good shot. Good shot.
That's tiger line. Got it? Go.
Good shot. Shot, the boy. Elisha Anabi taking the serve for Nigeria. It's game on. Game one in the first set. Nigeria taking the serve and lost that particular point to the Kenyans. It's on the scoreboard now. Nigeria 0, Kenya 1. Kenya has drawn the first blood here against Nigeria expectedly. You know, in tournaments like this, it's important that you put your right foot in first. But right here at the Indoor Sports Hall of the National Stadium, Abuja, the Moshood Abiola National Stadium, it's now level. The Kenyans equally too through their first serve out. How important is, you know, starting off on the right foot, you know, in a tournament, soak tournament, I mean, tension soak tournament of this format?
Well, if you look at the lineup, you see that Coach Solomon Zango stuck to the winning side yesterday. You'll see that if you look at the starting lineup, you'll see jersey number 7, Cyril, is in the team. You'll see jersey number 15, Briggs, is in the team. You'll see jersey number 4, Ami, is also starting. So Coach Solomon Zango knows what's at stake in winning this match, and we should expect firepowers. Now it's 2-2, and you see Shango, Morris Dikia, aka Shango, giving us the second point. So I believe we are going to give our very best against Kenya, and for me, I see Nigeria winning this first set by a slim margin.
That was a good setup, a shot, you know, from the entire Nigerian team, and a good finisher by that opposite Ita, who is equally has the ability to block quite precisely. Nigeria has taken the lead. It's 3-2 at the moment at the Indoor Sports Hall of the Moshood Abiola National Stadium. A whole lot of dignitaries are present here at the Indoor to grace this occasion. Most of them volleyball enthusiasts. I can also see some football enthusiasts here talking about the team manager of the Nigerian Super Eagles, Patrick Pascal, is an ardent follower. That's the cheer from the crowd. A good digger by the Kenyans, following an attack by the Nigerian side. An open Isa there, but eventually it was a direct send back to the Nigerian half of the court. And it was a big hit again from the Nigerian side. But you know, the ball was blocked off for 3-3 at the moment.
Well, Mura was in a hurry to hit the ball because he saw an open space there. But unfortunately, that ball was a spiker on the net, and it went in favor of Kenya. the scores will have been 4-2, but now a 3-3. That's the importance of getting every point. Every point is going to count in this match, and Nigeria should try as much as possible not to be wasteful. And you can see flying off Awol AWO Sheba Jefferson. She has given a jump ball, because according to the second referee, both players touched it. But let's see what will happen, because Nigeria, I'm sure, will definitely win it. And you can see Cyril, jersey number 7, giving a fantastic ball. But now Kenya have gotten the points, they lead. Like I said, every point is going to count.
Every point is going to count. It's the 8th save of the first game, and it's Nigeria 3, Kenya 4. As I said earlier, the dignitaries here present are equally of high caliber, but the Nigerian delegation from the Nigerian Army, the Nigerian Air Force, and of course the Nigerian Navy are well represented here at the indoor sports hall of the Moshood Abiola National Stadium. It's all square at the moment. Service 9 at the moment, and it's 8-8, service 9 in the fourth set. Nigeria picks this one. It's 5-4 now. A free ball unforced error caused by the Kenyan number 14 shirt. Quick passing around, good block. It's 5-5 at the moment. It's Kenya 7, Nigeria jersey number 10 on the baseline. The traditional jump serve. Good intent, but bad execution from Nigerian number 9 to give Kenya a 6-5 lead here at the indoor sports hall of the National Stadium, Abuja. Service number 12 in this crucial encounter, the decider of the silver medalist in this competition. Both teams are struggling to win.
Wonderfully executed by the player.
Another open spike from the Kenyan number 14 shirt. Number 16, I beg your pardon.
2-point lead against Nigeria.
There was no block in that one. The Nigerian team went to sleep. It's been a ding-dong affair here. More from on the local parlance, we call it the family game. At the moment, it's 6-7, an end-to-end encounter. Raw skills, fierce battle. Good setup play by the Kenyan there. And they've taken a 2-point lead at the moment. We are hitting the 6th minute on the clock. In 3 seconds, and Nigeria is trailing by 2 points. Wow, that was a giveaway by the Nigerian number 7 shirt. How did he do that?
Well, like I said, the Kenya side and the Nigerian side are two teams that are on the stream scent, and the Kenyans are taking advantage of every point. If you don't utilize your points, you are going to suffer for it, and that's what is happening now. The Kenya national team are doing that, and you can see now that Nigeria is picking up. We need to cover up this 2 points deficit, because every point is going to count, and if we begin to pick points one after the other, the Kenyans might end up picking the first. But I'm sure, and I know we are going to get the maximum point. And you can see a nice block from Elisha Anebi. Another point for us.
And of course, those are live footages from the National Sport Indoor Hall of the Moshood Abiola Stadium in Abuja, where the African Military Games is actually happening. And of course, it's at the volleyball. It's looking like Uganda there. I think so. Not really sure, but those are live footages where we'll be seeing some actions in a moment, where the two teams will be going down to participate in that particular sporting event. Africa Military Games 2024, what a show of military might, and of course the sporting, what they are made of in terms of their physical fitness, and that they are showing us all around the world. And of course, I still have TVC defense correspondent Sifan Essien, while we're looking at what is happening on the live footages of the African Military Games. But I wanted to ask you this question, and do we have a situation whereby, I think the game just started now. So we're just seeing live footages from the Indoor Sport Hall of the Moshood Abiola National Stadium here in Abuja. Interesting. But like I actually wanted to ask, do all the senior officers also participate in these kind of games? Every
sporting military personnel participates in the African Military Games, especially if you are qualified from your country.
So irrespective of your rank?
At this time, your rank is set aside. In other words, your rank becomes immaterial when it comes to the competition. So you could be a major, perhaps maybe in a shooting game from Nigeria, competing against a private or a lance corporal from Ghana, for instance. And at that material time, let's just assume the private or the sergeant gets to win the game. He gets to win the game. On the medals table, it's recorded against his name, regardless of your rank on the other side.
Okay, so I'm meant to understand that the match is between Ghana and Burkina Faso. Ghana is on red, while Burkina Faso is on the yellow. This is the live pictures from the Indoor Sport Hall of the Moshood Abiola National Stadium, where the African Military Games is actually happening. But let's continue our conversation. I was saying,
so your rank at this time is immaterial. Okay, for instance, you're having Ghana, what we're having on screen right now, and on the team you would have a much superior officer among them. You could call it a senior officer among them. At that material time, it's irrelevant his rank. What's utmost is the ability to play as a team and win the game. So within the team and across the divide, the issue of rank becomes immaterial when competing for laurels at this level.
You know what just played in my head? Okay, let's take, for example, shooting, and where you have probably a major in Nigeria competing with a private or a sergeant in Uganda.
Okay.
And at the end of the day, the Uganda sergeant or private wins the shooting against the major. So,
the medal or the laurels.
I'm not even talking about the medal or the laurels. I'm looking at a situation whereby wouldn't your junior officers be looking at you like, come on, excuse me?
No. It's immaterial. In the spirit of a sportsmanship, it's not about
you're supposed to show an example. That's what I'm trying to say.
Your rank does not, in this instance, does not determine the sophistication or extent of your skill in the participation in the game. So it depends. What is being tested and what is brought to the fore is your skill in sports, in that particular game you are engaging in, how well you've mastered that sport, and you are able to compete and win laurels regardless of now.
Okay,
look at it this way. Okay,
hold on, please, Sipon. So does it mean that your skill in terms of how you participate on the field, not sporting activities, I mean on the way you go to battleground, how you execute it, does not matter on how you put it apart when you are on the sporting scene?
Well, your military ability and strategy or skill, as the case may be, can play a role in helping you forge ahead. But it may not be the final determining factor if you win or not.
Yeah.
You know, strategy is important, but beyond strategy, it's a combination of skill and strategy.
Interesting. I needed to. But let's talk about the sports shoot. Still the live pictures from the Moshood Abiola National Stadium. You're still seeing it on the side of the TV. That's Ghana against Burkina Faso. The men's volleyball team there, where we are actually watching it. So we'll, of course, bring you some other updates as it regards the African Military Games in 2024 here in Abuja. I also want to talk about the shooting. You know, that's another interesting sport that we don't get to see. People, of course, people don't. Those, I'm not sure that one has to do with fans, so to say. Tell us more about it.
When it comes to shooting, just like we saw that demonstration of warmthness, of comradeship, where the Nigerian contingent, members of the Nigerian contingent were singing, and their counterparts from North Africa were joining them to learn the songs. That actually happened after a shooting exercise.
Oh, wow,
you know?
Interesting.
So in that case, for those who really appreciate the game, you have a number of them around, you know, to you know, observe and become spectators in that game at the Shitu Alao Barracks in Kefi. But beyond that, you have more of military personnel as spectators and as supporters of their team. In that instance, very few civilians or fans of shooting you have at such games. But when you come to traditional football, volleyball, and things like that, you have the traditional supporters club, even the Nigerian supporters club, you know, supporting the Nigerian contingent to victory. But in games like shooting, which you've mentioned, you have very few persons, you know, talking about civilians, but you have more of military personnel, you know, showing their support for their various teams who appreciate such games. And there we have it on display.
Interesting. Let's still tell you that the Nigerian Armed Forces volleyball team dominated their Burkina Faso counterpart with a decisive 3-0 victory, 25-10, 25-16, 25-19, in the ongoing 2024 African Military Games, AMGA in Abuja. The wins marked Nigeria's second consecutive triumph in the tournament. The match showcased Nigeria's superior skill and teamwork, with the Shaifa Dikia's powerful spikes setting the tone in the first set, which ended 25-10 in the favor of Nigeria. Burkina Faso came in the second set with a renewed determination, but struggled against Nigeria's consistent firepower. Key plays by Elisha Anebi and, of course, Emmanuel Briggs and Cyril Ritabo secured the set for Nigeria at 25-16. The third set saw a spirited effort from the Burkina Faso, but Nigeria's dominance persisted, closing the match with a 25-19 victory. And of course, Seifa Dikia's outstanding performance earned him the Most Valuable Player award for the match. Head coach Solomon Zango praised the team's effort and expressed satisfaction with their performance, highlighting their impressive display of skill and strategy. And TVC's sports correspondent Jane Francis earlier today, of course, we'll bring you that, all of that later. But I think it's really an interesting episode that we're seeing in these African Games. You know, we talked about discovering talent in these African Games that can represent Nigeria. I don't want to sound too pessimistic. You know, for example, Nigeria went to the Olympics and it was unimpressive. let me use that word for the lack of better word, unimpressive. That is not that there's no talent, it's just to properly put the resources and the trainings together. When it comes to Olympics, after the first, from what I speaking to sports correspondents over time, they will tell you when it comes to Olympics, after the first Olympics finish, you begin to train for the next one. So in this kind of African military games, when we talked about talents and how to discover how we can use them in the Olympics, I know some represent Nigeria, but how can we better harness these for a better future of the Nigerian games?
We understand that efforts are being stepped up to ensure that those who have put up an impressive performance or impressive performances at this game, go the whole hog, to compete for laurels at global levels beyond the African military games, say, for instance, the Olympics. But you would also understand that these are primarily military personnel, and their duty, their calling, their religion is soldiering before any other thing. So first, second, and third in the scale of priority for them is the task for which they were engaged by their various countries to defend the territorial integrity of their country. But sports becomes a second means of achieving the first. But by and large, much as efforts are being made to harvest these talents, they would not lose sight of the fact that they are military personnel. So you cannot have them just like you'd have the other athletes who would have 4 or 5 years to train for a particular competition. This will be posted, when they return back to their unit, will be posted to areas of responsibility to perform their military assignments. And when they have opportunities like this, they are given some time to brush up their skills and compete for laurels. So it's balancing one against the other. But we understand by and large that the task of being a military personnel is paramount, and premium is placed on that beyond or against all else.
You talked about premium placed on that, and I quite agree with you. What I was just looking at is that if this talent is good enough, to represent Nigeria at the Olympics, there are exemptions. I don't know if it happens.
We've seen premium performances, and that can compete, anywhere in the world. The various federations are actively involved in organizing these games and officiating in the games, so they understand the standards, and these military officers have met certain standards, which is why they are given medals, not just for the medal's sake, but because they have attained that level that warrants or attracts being given
the medal.
A medal. So going beyond that would be for the Chief of Defense Staff in Nigeria and the various chiefs across the defense forces to determine the extent to which talents discovered at this fiesta would compete or represent their countries at higher levels.
I think I totally agree with you, and that's where my point is actually going. Then, of course, not forgetting, because we actually need to narrow back to why the game in the first place was actually put together, of course, to foster unity between the African countries, and of course, and that has to do with, securing the region, which is very, very important against adversaries. We spoke about that yesterday, and it's something that we cannot but continue to speak about. The adversary are also watching, for better of words. They are also watching to see what exactly are these men of valor, I put it that way, are doing. But let's look at how this will also help in sending out that message to the rest of African countries who are not able to make it down here, because we have 53, there are just 40 here. to send a message that this is where to be and how to foster unity.
Just like we saw in that clip that we played earlier, still going back to the fact that you saw the Nigerian contingent, singing, and those who don't even understand what they're singing about, learning the songs and singing alongside. Just imagine when we have those who are not participating in this game in their various countries watching, this broadcast, recording it and playing it back and trying to learn what are they saying that, our North African brothers are joining them to sing. You understand that this is bridging the gap, which may have existed as a result of culture, geography, and boundaries. That gap is being bridged by sport, and you see that element of culture coming into the military, the songs meant to boost the morale, which enables them, in their words, to gyrate militarily, So when, contingents or countries that are not participating in this game get to see that, they understand that, hey, if these people can join these Nigerians to sing, we can join all our brothers across the continent to sing. And that goes a long way in fostering comradeship, which is the reason for which the games are being organized, and fostering that military profession amongst the various defense forces participating in this game.
Let's talk about the organization of these particular African military games. You hear, if you go on social media, some persons have been saying this is good, but you are the defense correspondent, so you understand exactly how these things work. But let's talk about the organization and how you're saying that the military has done, that the Nigerian military has done in terms of putting this together to host the African contingent who has come to participate in these military games. Let's talk about how that organization.
Understand that it's Nigeria, and indeed the Nigerian Armed Forces hosting the games.
Nigerian Armed Forces, yeah.
And these are not, or this is not a traditional sport organizing institution.
Yeah.
You understand? So we also understand they are working with consultants, sporting federations to ensure that they have a world-class event, which we have been reporting and enjoying, as the case may be. It's been a Herculean task, for the hosts, and indeed the various federations consider logistical challenges they've had to surmount, and largely the challenge has been logistics, movement of man, materials, and getting things in the right places and the right time, for the games to hold at the times, at the scheduled time. That has been Herculean, but we've seen a situation where the organizers have been able to surmount those challenges, and these challenges are not just peculiar to these games. We've seen them even at the Olympics. The ability to surmount them is key. And for the military, for them, strategy and thinking out of the box is tradition for them.
And I think I quite agree with you, because that is actually playing out in these African military games, if you see. So now, we now go back to the live feed where Ghana and Burkina Faso are actually playing in the volleyball match there at the indoor sport hall of the Moshood Abiola National Stadium.
Standing strong and rising the highs to reach out to that one. 16-21. That is amazing. So big killing. And he will be looking to pull that stop today. 18. He's got a better reputation than Tete. Show to do that better next time out. 1922. Burkina Faso now playing the catch-up business. And a kick down from Atom. Oh, really huge shot. Penultimate point for Ghana in the first set with a lead of 4. Timeout. Burkina Faso. When we come back, 23-19. Ghana.
Timeout pour le Burkina Faso et le Ghana est point donc pour 3 alors que l'équipe avait 5 points.
Okay, these are live pictures from the Moshood Abiola National Stadium where Ghana is taking on Burkina Faso in the men's volleyball match. Ghana in red and Burkina Faso in yellow. So we'll be, of course, giving you some updates about that, but this is what it looks like now. And of course, one of the most important things at this particular event is the spirit of comradeship, and I think that this is what the African Military Games is all about. Sifon?
Yeah, building this spirit of comradeship among participating armed forces, you know, that will also send a signal to others who didn't make it to the game that when the next game holds, they should make it to the game. And you know that this is a subtle way or a non-kinetic way, the military people will call it, of, you know, solving the security challenges on the continent of Africa. Because coming together, connecting together, you know, discussing one or two things, sharing ideas while engaging in sports, they all go back to their countries. Implementing those ideas would help to combat the challenges that we've seen on the African continent.
Thank you very much. So, of course, we'll be leaving you with the live match from the Moshood Abiola National Stadium, Ghana and Burkina Faso, the men's volleyball match. But from us here in the studio, thank you very much for joining us on this special edition of the African Military Games 2024. We'll see you tomorrow again, and that will be the day 9 of the Games in Abuja, where all 40 countries are participating in these African Military Games. My name is Ademola Lawrence, and of course, bye for now.